Peduto. Bill Peduto. May I call you Bill?
You can call me whatever you'd like to call me.
Nice place you got here. This is pretty snazzy. And welcome to Burgh, Vivant. You are our 100th guest. This is our 100th episode. Cheers and thank you.
Congratulations.
For chatting with us.
On having 99 good episodes and one mediocre.
Well, we'll see. People seem to really like you. And for an elected official, I find that remarkable. How can I make friends and influence people?
Don't build bike lanes.
Oh, yeah? That's gotten some mixed reviews?
Whew. Yeah. Bike lanes, dog parks, there's different things that are happening in the city right now that are a part of a cultural change. It's not just happening in Pittsburgh, it's happening all over the world. And we've been kind of late to the party. So you start to see these different things happen, and people's first reaction is, it doesn't benefit me directly. I don't know why you're using my tax dollars to do it. So I would say, we're trying to respond back in a way that explains it as a holistic approach to everything that we're doing. So we're not building bike lanes. We're building streets that are designed for everybody, whether you walk on them, whether you're a person with needs, whether you use public transit, drive a car, or ride a bike. You design it in a way that works for people, and then you don't have the problems later on about why it doesn't work. So how does a politician get friends? It's not the old way of giving away things. It's really, I think, understanding that people are going to differ with you, and then don't go down here and fight them. Try to explain it and elevate the discussion. And we've been really trying to do that a lot.
Well, the bikers are happy, I know that. And as for dog parks, I think if dogs paid taxes, you'd be golden, right? Well, you recently hung out with President Obama.
Yeah.
He was here, I think, speaking at a veterans event,
Yes.
correct? Now, was that the first time you had met him?
No. 7th in a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So you're pretty good friends then, huh? So now,
and Barry and Bill.
Do you call him Barry, really?
Of course not.
Mr. President.
Of course.
What does he call you?
Mayor. I love Pittsburgh. I do a pretty good Obama imitation, but it wasn't.
You weren't prepared, but I did hear it there, and that was not bad.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there, and I get the call Sunday afternoon. President's coming in. They'd like you at the tarmac to welcome him to Pittsburgh. The county executive will be with you. And we had the opportunity to do it once last year. So he gets off that plane, and I get like 16 seconds to be with him. And a year ago, I had told him how we wanted to do this energy plan. Instead of using faraway power plants to power the city, we want to create energy within the city and then just use it there. So as we redevelop the Hill District, we want a district energy facility there. We want the same thing in Hazelwood and down in the Strip District and in downtown in the North Shore. And this is another thing that's happening around the world. 78% efficient compared to the old model of the big power plant burning coal that's only 38% efficient. So we had the conversation. I had the conversation with the president, and I wanted to let him know we had success. And I said, Mr. President, I met with you a year ago about district energy, and I got to tell you, on Friday we inked a deal with the Department of Energy. And I'm holding his hand so he doesn't walk away. He goes, that sounds interesting. I'd like to talk to you about it. Why don't you ride with me down? Just ride with me. Let's talk. And I saw myself on the news that night, and this was my reaction. And it's like bewilderment and wonderment. It's like bewilderment. And I look over at Fitz, and he's going, he's just laughing. And so, completely unexpected, you see all the Secret Service all of a sudden, because we're supposed to ride in the silver minivan at the end of the little motorcade. And I just walk over, and Fitz and I are talking about what we're going to say. And I said to Rich, I go, my cell phone and my wallet are in the minivan. And he's like, I'm sure they'll get it for you. And they're like, if I never see that wallet again, it's going to be worth it.
Now, what do you feel is Barack Obama's opinion on the city of Pittsburgh?
He loves it. And this isn't the first time he said that to me. In fact, he said it 3 different times on the way in about the different things. He said, there's a reason. Let me see if I can do my bro. No, I can't tell. There's a reason that cities like Chicago and Pittsburgh have done better than cities like Cleveland and Detroit. And one of the reasons that he said is that we didn't see the same level of white flight during the 70s and the 80s that those cities saw. And what I reminded him is yes, but now in the latest census tract, we're seeing black flight in the city, where African American families are choosing if they can leave the city to leave the city. And so there's still this dichotomy that's happening. All these great things are happening in the city, and he's right. He was on it about the tech and everything else. But for 30% of the people that I represent, they live at or below poverty, and there's no way right now to have a ladder of opportunity to get into that other part.
So what can a mayor do to help that?
Well, one of the things we talked about, and this is a problem across the country, not just Pittsburgh, affordable housing. Mm-hmm. We haven't reached any of the levels that other cities are facing, but we have about 7,000 people that can apply and receive federal assistance. And we have 13,000 properties that I own, vacant properties, lots that the city owns. And we're not marrying the two. We can't connect them. There isn't a federal program to help us to work with a church or a community group to buy that house, fix it up, and then to get somebody who needs housing into it. And instead of just renting and paying it to an out-of-state landlord, put down equity and own it. So the president, on his way back to the airport, called his chief of staff and said, follow up with Pittsburgh. I want to see what they're talking about. The HUD, the Secretary of HUD is now involved, and we had one day to submit a report back to the president of what it is that we'd like to see. So we got to find a way to give people who just want a shot at taking a risk and making it successful.
You are on it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, but it's a small city, we can do these things.
Little big city, or big little city, is how I've always thought of it, And, you're a pretty hip mayor. You have that stigma. You're all over social media and Facebook. Now, is that you or is that Peduto staff? That is you? Yeah. Pretty awesome. Yeah.
But when it comes down to the Twitter account, there's never been a time when anyone's posted for me, or Facebook. I don't post that much on Instagram, but now and then I'll throw something up there.
I kind of wish that technology was around earlier so that, past mayors could have used it. I mean, can't you imagine what Sophie Maslov's tweets would have been like? Pittsburgh is extremely culturally rich.
Yeah.
That's why a program like
ours...
On
every level.
Yes.
No, from symphony, opera, ballet, to ethnic dance, ethnic food, smaller city.
Now, I'm concerned that maybe because of your busy schedule, you don't get out to enjoy it a lot. Do you get to the theater? Do you get to the symphony?
Yeah.
Checking out some good restaurants?
Yeah, I do. I try to make time to be able to do it. I probably don't do it as much as I'd like. In things like baseball, which I love, I've only been to 2 games, and they were both last week.
Oh.
So, I get to see quite a bit of theater, especially with the smaller ones.
Oh, good.
Places like City Theater, Quantum Theater, Attack Theater with dance. But that's been just something I've done since, I guess, in my 20s. No.
If you hadn't gotten into city government, what do you think you'd be doing?
Well, I used to run political campaigns. That's how I got in. My family was never involved in government or politics, so I started out on the ground floor and volunteering, and then becoming a staff member, and then leading campaigns. But at the time I turned 30, I was in a television studio in Youngstown, Ohio, and the media consultant that we were using was squishing my opponent's head, and it was my 30th birthday, and turning it a shade of green, and I'm there like, I'm not doing this for a lifetime. So I took a pay cut of 1/2, and I went to work as the chief of staff to a councilman, and then when he decided not to run, I ran, and spent 12 years as a councilman, and then this. I would probably be working in the nonprofit community. I would probably be working on a path to become an executive director of a nonprofit. Being said, that may be the next career. I know this. I'm not running for any other political office.
This is it.
This is it. This is what I wanted to do, and I would never be happy if I had to be one of 435 or run an entire state where you really can't see the changes happening. But the ability to be the mayor of the city of Pittsburgh was my dream, and I get to do it every day.
Now, seeing as how this is our 100th episode, Pittsburgh. Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
We're very
You don't look
thrilled.
a day over 94 episodes.
Thank you. I've had a little bit of work done. You got a regatta. Yeah, that's what you need as a catchphrase. Do you have one yet? We'll work on it. What's your ideal vision for Pittsburgh in 20 years? And you'll be out of office by then, so we don't have to hold you to it.
Well, number one, my kitchen will be done. It's
very good.
I'm living in dirt and dust and a little bit of disarray right now, eating off a table with a microwave with paper and plastic. I decided I can live anywhere in the city now. And I started looking around, and apartments are expensive in the city.
Yeah. Hey, can you do anything about that?
So autonomous vehicles are going to be real. Not in 20 years, but within the next 5. We already have sensors in the cars getting ready for it.
I'm not ready for it. I don't know.
I know George Jetson drove his own little thing, right?
Well, I'll have to watch the Jetsons to prepare myself.
Yep.
Well, this all sounds pretty good. I think I'll stick around.
Yeah, you should.
know, at least until your kitchen's done, because I'm waiting for the big grand opening party.
I don't know if there's going to be a grand opening
Oh,
party.
you got it! Come on, all the work you're putting into it.
I think it's going to be just a Pop-Tart, And, yeah.
Well, that can be grand in many ways.
If you had a magic wand and you could change 3 things in Pittsburgh, what would they be?
Traffic, the weather, and let's see. It couldn't be about me. I'd like to, have a better complexion and lose 10 pounds.
And by the way, to the visitors to Pittsburgh, and they have to know this, when somebody lets you in, like if you're trying to merge in one of the 80 lanes on the Parkway West going to the airport before you get to the tunnel, you know what I'm talking about? On the bridge, and somebody lets you in, you wave. You have to wave. It's the law in Pittsburgh. And what you should do is if someone waves, and you see them wave, you should wave back.
Right. And not just one of those pinky waves like you're holding your cell phone. No, we want a Pittsburgh wave.
Yep.
You've heard it here from the mayor.
You let me in. I'm waving because you let me in and you're a good person. Thank you, good person. You're a good person too. Have a nice day. It's Pittsburgh.
Now, you do have official documentation that you passed that into law, right?
Executive orders. Yeah.